Hey guys! So for our group project, we decided to do a Draw My Life, and it's going to be in the perspective of Desmond T. Doss. My father and mother were both in love, and they were Bertha and William. They were able to have a baby, and that baby was me. And I was born on February 7th, 1919, in Virginia, in the city of Lynchburg. Sadly for my mother, it was not always the easiest for her. My mother was a very devoted woman to God. However, my father was, on the other hand, devoted to alcohol. One of the most traumatizing events that happened in my life was when my father had put a gun in front of my uncle's face because he was in an argument. Being the great woman my mother is, my mother wanted to protect my uncle and stood up right in front of the gun, screaming and shouting to tell my father to not hold a gun, ever again. I, on the other hand, had to witness this whole thing, and because of this, I was scarred and never wanted to hold a gun.
Several years later, I was able to obtain a job at the Lynchburg Lumber Company during the Great Depression. Lucky for me, I was able to find a lovely woman named Dorothy, and from there we fell in love. After hearing about the devastating events at Pearl Harbor, I felt something inside of me telling me to enlist into the war, and so I did. So I had to pack my bags from going from Virginia and going all the way to South Carolina, because that's where I was stationed for training at Fort Jackson. On August 17, 1942, me and Dorothy had got married. One of the really difficult things that had happened for me going into camp was because I was so devoted to my faith and I still did not want to hold a weapon. The other soldiers had mocked me, and I didn't want to hold a weapon because I still couldn't after witnessing the things that had happened with my father. A quote that stuck to me was when my commanding officer said, "Doss, as soon as we get into combat, I'll make sure you won't come back alive." My commander officer hated that I did not hold a weapon, and he went to the extent of going to court for it. But it failed and didn't work out as he planned. After the very intense training I had gone through, I finally got to serve, and I got to serve at Guam in the Philippines and Okinawa in Japan. During the Battle of Okinawa, I was able to save the lives of 75 men at Hacksaw Bridge. And one of the quotes that I always said was, "Just one more, God," when I was saving all these men's lives. From the battle, however, I was wounded 4 times from my leg to my hip. After the war, I had still some injuries, and with time, I healed, but I still was in much pain. I was not able to return back to my lumber job. In 1946, I sadly was diagnosed with tuberculosis. After the war, there was many disabilities that I had obtained, due to the fact that I only had 1 lung left, and I had lost 5 ribs. Because of it, I was diagnosed to be 90% disabled. I then had overdosed on my antibiotics medication that led me to be deaf, and because of that, I became 100% disabled. Luckily, I had gotten a cochlear implant, and that allowed me to hear again. 1946 was still a milestone year in my life. Me and my beautiful wife, Dorothy, had gave birth to our first son named Tommy.
My life after war consisted mainly with my family, and I had brought my family to the city of Fawn in Georgia. On November 17, 1991, I sadly had lost my wife, Dorothy, to a terrible car accident. On July 1st, 1993, I had gotten remarried to my new wife, Frances Dermott. Now this is back to our perspective. Doss died on March 23, 2006 in Piedmont, Alabama. Doss died as a hero with many achievements and awards in honor of the sacrifice he had made for many. Doss was buried in the National Cemetery in Chattanooga. Doss was honored with 3 medal awards. He was awarded with the World War II Victory, the Army Guard Conduct, and the Meritorious Vault Commendation. Thank you guys for watching. We wanted to just thank Dosman for all of his service that he has done, and we were just really inspired by his story, and we're glad that we were able to share it. Thank you.